Welcome yet again to another episode of the In All Honesty podcast. My fabulous name is Oliver Rao, and let's get right into it. We start with responses from our last episode, Black Sheep. And these are some of the responses that came in through YouTube. Bunny's Lucy says, in shocking turn of events, the highest achieving child mostly grows up to be traumatized, lost, chronic people pleaser, which started with buying parental love, acceptance, validation, etc. This episode is so relatable. I'm also unlearning and trying to heal from all those childhood traumas brought by being the golden child. Hugs, love. Lots of hugs, bunnies. We are trying. We are out here. We are drowning, but we know how to swim, okay? Another one says, Valerie Aono says, I have been waiting for season 3 for the longest time. Love hearts, love hearts. Oh, love to you too, Valerie. I had been waiting for season 3 a whole load because it involved a lot of you as well. And so far, I am just loving it. Christabel Haya, which is also my friend on Facebook, says, being your father's favorite child may have caused all this. Pole sana. So this is a new perspective, and it was also brought to me by a friend of mine. And if you know, or if you have any information on this sort of perspective, please just let me know. So that friend of mine told me that she was the black sheep and her mom didn't like her, and she grew up with her mother only. And her mom did not like her because even her mother's family did not like her. And this is because she was named after her father's mom. So you might find parents have a subconscious bias of hate or love towards a particular child, depending on a few things. You might find that the most favorite child or the most loved child looks a lot like the parent who favors them, or probably was named after someone from the family of that parent who favors them. And the other person who is not liked as much, if you probably look keenly, you'll find that they have aspects of resemblance or something that ties them very strongly towards the other parent, who then the primary parent does not treat them well. So if anyone has any information on this, please, I would really, really appreciate. I know there's a lot of reflection on my glasses right now, but there's a lot of reading to do today. So with the strain, we'll handle it, okay? That's for the people watching on YouTube. The rest of you, you are good. Just enjoy the voice. So let's get to today's episode. And today's episode is, what's your single or settled story? So we know that there are people who are single and comfortable. We know there are people who are married and comfortable. We know there are people who are trying to figure it out. And I basically just wanted to know, where are we at? And if you're single and you like it, how did you get there? If you're married and you like it, how did you get there? Are you single and feeling a lot of pressure about getting married or getting settled? Or are you settled and you feel like there's a lot of pressure that came with it and you feel like you're regretting it? I just wanted to know where we are all coming from, because I feel like just coming at people all the time, oh, you should be married, oh, you should be single, it doesn't solve anything. We just need to understand where the other person is coming from, and that just makes it easy to navigate life. So I did ask on my socials, and you should watch out on my socials for a prompt on what we're discussing in the next week. So on my socials, I asked, are you feeling pressure about your romantic status? So I got a couple of responses, and you people are the funniest people on earth. So Kesewa, okay, I guess that's just Kesewa, double H. Kesewa says, my grandma and auntie tried to rush me about marriage. I told them I'm looking for a wife and I'd welcome their help in finding one. They've never brought it up till date. Turns out they don't mind single if the alternative is queer. Laughing in lesbianhood. Hey, Kesewa, you're the OG, the real original gangster. This makes me so happy. Every time I've been reading it, I've just been like, maybe I should pull this on my parents. Maybe. Anywho, a guy coach says, Mimi hapa existence tu pekee imenishinda. Wachana na relationship. That's the last thing I'm going to think about. So there are people who are feeling just generally overwhelmed with life and they're just like, guys, relationship is a non-issue. And then Queen underscore Toes says, is it possible to find a fence between the two sides to stand on? Because where? Even me, I'm there for where? Yes, you can find a fence because most of the things don't have to be black and white, really. And so I'll move to responses that I got directly to my prompt, and where there's a lot, plus 30. But since I was dedicated to doing this season 3 with you people, I will go through all of them. So I'll remind you of the prompt. The prompt said, are you feeling pressure about your romantic status? So the first answer I got says, no pressure at all. I'm dating, but not ready to settle. Oh, that sounds very assertive. I love it. Another person said, being financially, emotionally independent took away most of my interest in men. Hey, that's an episode on its own. Are we ready? Are we ready, Wena? What pressure? From who? Why? Because you people make me so happy. Someone says, I stopped feeling anything. That is concerning, but very valid. I remember a point in my life when I was just so numb and nothing made sense. That's when I realized that I'm into nihilism. But nihilism was a phase. Now I've moved on. I've moved on, guys. That's another podcast. Someone says, the pressure is getting worse. Hey, I like how everything is so mixed up. No one is feeling the same thing as the other. Someone says, no. Someone says, no, because when I came to terms with the fact that marriage isn't something I desire, pressure lifted. So this person had an epiphany at some point, and that's just beautiful. There's some of this that I was reading and I was just like, that is so wholesome. That is very, very beautiful. I'll remind you the prompt again as I continue with the answers I got. Are you feeling pressure about your romantic status? And someone just typed, sadly, yes. Sending hugs, sending love, sending loads of whiskey. Someone else said, where 35. So 35 is Kenyan for 35. So I do not know whether this person is 35. And by saying where, as Kenyans, we interpret that as the pressure is intensely worse. And then another person says, there's a point I felt like I needed a relationship that could lead to marriage, but after a fallout, decided, and then the word limit cut them out. So I'm guessing they're not pressured anymore, but there's a time they were really pressured to do that. Another person says, I was married for 5 years, been unmarried for 4. Pressure whatsoever to settle down. I have no pressure whatsoever to settle, not even pressure to date. So this person was married for 5 years. They've been single for 4 years, and they feel they do not even want to date at this point. If I were them, I'd do the same. I can imagine coming from a point of just coming out of a marriage. I would not throw myself back into that pool. I'd just want to live stress-free and rest for a bit. Someone sent in the emojis 100. So there's loads of pressure over there. I am sorry and I'm sending so much love. Someone just says no. There's no pressure. We moved regardless. These ones are the singles. You see these singles who've mutated. These ones, they feel nothing. Someone else says, yes, there's that girl I like. I don't know if she likes me back. Oh yeah. I'm sending out so much love. There's only one way to find out. You'll have to ask her. And no can also be an answer. And one thing I can tell you that has worked for me, the faster you do it, the faster you get on with your life. So just ask. And if it's maybe they feel the same way for you. You know, sometimes it's imposter syndrome. You're feeling like that person could never. And even if they say no, then at least you know the answer and you can move on with your life. I am so sorry. I'm sending you love. And I hope it turns out great. I hope it turns out great. I hope they like you as much as you like them. Someone else says, very much, crying emoji. That's a lot of pressure for you to cry. That's a whole lot of pressure that you don't know what to do with. Sending you lots of love. Someone else said, I have been single for almost 2 years now. I don't like it here, but I love it here. Let me tell you guys, that singlehood is addictive. That singlehood is addictive. Anyway, I'll remind you of the prompt again. I'm reading answers to the prompt that I asked on my socials. Are you feeling pressure about your romantic status? Someone told me, no, just waiting for the right time. That's beautiful. Let it come when it comes. Oh, that's so wholesome. Someone else said, absolutely not. I love the freedom I'm experiencing in singlehood. Yeah, I'm telling you, these people who are addicted to singlehood. I am telling you, hey. Someone else said, kinda, sometimes, nope, mostly. I do understand this because there are moments when you feel very lonely, and that it's in those moments that you're just like, I wish I had someone to call, to hold me to, you know. But most of the time, you're not just thinking about it. So it's a non-issue for you. I do understand that answer. Yes, all day, mostly when I get home from work. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I don't know whether this is a guy or a girl. Okay, I will not profile them. But getting home from a hard day's job, I understand. Sometimes you just want to come home to a hug, a foot rub, or just someone you really like. I understand, but I don't get why you have pressure. I don't get it. I don't get it, but I do understand. Someone else says, not really. I was last year when some of my friends had only dated for 2 years. I didn't understand this. I'm guessing you're not feeling pressure, but last year your friends had dated for 2 years and you're feeling sort of some type of way about getting committed, maybe. If not, I'm thinking maybe your friends got married after dating for 2 years and you're feeling maybe it should be your turn as well. I don't know, but you've said not really, so you're here, there. It's warm, okay? Someone else says, of course, crying emoji. Oh, yeah. Aki, if you're feeling pressure, I really am sending out loads of love. I don't know what else to do. Someone else says, not at all. Another one says, I am 30, single AF. I want to be taken, but not because of societal pressure, but to have a boyfriend. That's it. Nice. I get this one. I get the idea of just when it happens, it happens. I really want to have a boyfriend. I want to have a husband. I want to have a wife, but not out of pressure. It's just something I want to do. That is nice. That's very wholesome. Someone else says, yeah, was pressured. I'm the only son, but I ended up doing what I wanted. I chose my partner and my best friend. Oh, so there's somewhere in the comments, someone, I think it was on Facebook or on TikTok, someone mentioned that you should marry or you should date your best friend. It gets way easier when you do that. And then someone else says, no, I'm super happy. So no pressure. They're happy where they are. These are addicts, single addicts, these ones. Another one says, ulisikia wapi? But the way my classmates are getting married, ni kama kuna order. Okay, for him, he doesn't have pressure. Him or her, he doesn't have pressure, but the classmates are getting knocked off the shelf one by one. That one I do understand. I'll remind you the prompt for the last bit of answers I got. Are you feeling pressure about your romantic status? No, I don't feel it. Granted, I had a son years ago, so that pressure left then. So I am enjoying life. It happens. I love the it happens. Because guys, once you learn to just take life as it comes, it's way easier than trying to plan every single detail in what the future might look like. And then someone else says, there's no pressure from my end, but where I live, no one can prepare you enough to living with a man. calm. Huh. You have no pressure from your end, but you're saying living with a man is tricky. So I just shared a post on my stories the other day about a lady who had TikToked how she's picking up after her husband. And there were simple things like she picked up a t-shirt next to the laundry basket and put it in the laundry basket. And I was just wondering, is it normal to clean up after a grown-ass human being? I don't think I'll be okay with it. Knowing my heart, I don't think I'll be fine. Another answer I got was, nah, I'm 27 and been single for long and feeling no pressure. Kuna sneaky link though. I know sneaky links keep it spicy. They keep it spicy. They keep it spicy. And you'll be addicted to that singlehood, I swear. Someone else says, no, I'm happily single. Streets za Nairobi ni za usherati na bihashara. If you do not understand Kiswahili, this person says basically they are happy single. They know that these Nairobi streets are for promiscuity and business only. Do not come here looking for love. I'm guessing it's every city because I've heard about Joburg, I've heard about Lagos. I guess it's every city around the world maybe. Someone else says, not really. Someone else says, not particularly. So these are people who are just mellow and are not feeling the pressure. And our last person says, obviously, yes. All my friends are getting married and doing weddings, and yet sina mtu. So laughing face emoji and palm to face emoji. So I don't know if that's how you're dealing with that situation, but it feels like, yes, you're feeling pressure. And on that note of all of your friends getting pressured, I feel like when I was in the church, I felt like there was a lot of that pressure. I usually feel like in church, once the first person in the youth committee or whatever the youth group is gets married, it's ta-ta-ta. The next person is just going to get married. So I don't know whether it's usually out of pressure or the church just feels like there's a particular point in time where everyone should be getting married. So if everyone was 24 in the next 2 years, everyone who's 24, 25, 26 will get married. I don't know. I saw that around church. But then once I left church, I didn't have a community so much. So I don't know how it feels to have pressure from the people around you. But basically, those are the responses that I got. I have read each and every one of them. But there's one I want to finish with that was sent to my DM. And it's still a response. It's not a letter yet. We'll get to the letters after this. And she says, Ati pressure. I let go. If my eggs are too dry to have kids, ni sawa too. I am fine without having the pressure to start a family. I just got tired of the anxiousness that came with future planning and waiting to fulfill life goals for others. No, I only plan 1 year at a time. Of course, I am open to love and its adventures, but I am also open to the fact that all can go to tell and I will end dying alone. I'm becoming friendlier to my demons with age. If I can plan for gym session in a week, then I feel I have achieved it. The less I stress over problems and what the future holds for me, the better the outcome. I have always been the nervous type, hated exams so much to the point I would puke and have diarrhea. Sorry, TMI. But after a life lesson last year, my brain changed, and now I just roll with the punches. My new motto in life is life's like a dick. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. You just have to ride it through. Why would you ride a dick that's down? But anyway, believe you me, that phrase gives me joy in the darkest of hours. And whatever keeps you going, my love. So I have the sniffles. Yes, I got the sniffles. So I'm going to take just a mini break to blow my nose and take some water. And we should be back for our letters. It's time for our letters, to read letters that have been sent in by our beautiful, beautiful human beings in a bit. And our first letter comes from a girl I named Mereditha. I told you I'm going to have fun with names, okay? If you have funny ones, please suggest. I already picked one off TikTok last week and I'm so happy. Anyway, first letter. Hi, Olive. Mereditha here. Just seen your TikTok post about the topic for your podcast episode. I am single and was looking forward to marriage, but that ship has sailed. Long story. Anyway, I do not have any pressure from my family. I'm 29 and they are telling me to take my time. All my friends are single. I have a small circle of friends and 2 do not want that marriage life and 3 of us want to settle down, but character development. However, I think I do have some internal pressure because I feel like I want to settle down before I'm 30. I know. I just got out of a relationship that was headed to marriage because I do want children. But one thing I do not want to do is raise my children without their father, mainly because my father has been a gem in my life. I wouldn't want to deny them the experience. So currently, I don't know where I lie because this was my last straw. I would like to hear if there are people out there like me. Mereditha, there definitely are people out there like you. I have a friend of mine who also plans to have a family and would like to be married, and she set out goals. And I do not feel like there's anything wrong. It is okay to set out your plans for marriage and children by a particular age. It is fine, so long as you're setting it for yourself and not through external pressure. And why I feel it is fine to have that, because people normally plan. People plan for retirement, people plan for investment, people plan financially for their education. Why would you not add your family planning into that? So I really do understand that you wanted to have a family by this age. What I really like about what you're saying, Mereditha, is that you understand the pressure. There's this timeline you've set for yourself, but at the end of the day, you're not negotiating with the quality of the person who you want to be the father of your children. And for that, I feel I have so much respect for you, because we have to be very keen on who we bring children to this world to. And it is not right to just feel like I need to do this and this by here. You need to also just have some quality control. And I love that for you. And I remember at the time when I still was delusional and thought I wanted a family, I would constantly say, I have to make sure that the father of my children is there and they're as present and have as beautiful a relationship with the children as I have had with my dad. So I always wanted that. I wanted whatever my mom and dad gave me, I wanted that to be passed down to my children, a family, stability, and all that. And I love that you have non-negotiables. For people who are listening to this and you have other comments or you're in the same boat, please send it in, comment here so that Mereditha does not think she's going through this alone. But you are fine, Mereditha. It is fine to feel whatever it is that you are feeling. Whether you want to do this by 30, by 35, it's okay to set timelines. It's okay to work towards it. I don't know. I don't have the specifics how you can work towards it. But let us hope, okay? That was a wholesome one. Thank you so much for sharing. And on to our second letter. I named her Abscondita. Remember the name I told you I picked from TikTok the other day? It was Abscondita. But this letter made me so happy because this letter started with laughing emojis. I was just sure this is going to be wild. Okay. So, Abscondita says, let me start with where. This is how we knew it's going to be wild. So I'm a 4th-year student somewhere, and in my whole girl set, I was the only one who was not dating till this January. So personally, I was okay with it at first, but the pressure got worse. So there is this guy, 36 years old, who had been on my case for a while. Tell me why of all the guys, I decided to date him. Mind you, I'm 21 years old. He was divorced, but then the wife brought herself back 1 month into our relationship. So that is end of January this year. And that is how I became an unprofessional side chick. Hey, I know this was going to be crazy. Anyway, since nilikuwa nisha fall in love or whatever this is, we've been good. But just 2 days ago, the wife called me asking me what is going on between me and the Omu husband. Olive, when I tell you all my words for this year are exhausted, trust me, they are. After Yoruba and Luo men, fear Louis. Oh my goodness. That letter made me so happy. Absconita. Even worse, this guy happens to be an exam officer. Petty AF. So I can't end things with him yet. Nangoja ni graduate. Abscondita. Anyway, well, I'm just saying, pressure ya kudate isifanye mtu ajiingize kwa situations zingine kama hizi. What the F am I going through at my age? I concur. What the hell are you going through at your age? But anyway, abscondita is very normal. These things, we make all the wrong decisions at all the wrong times. In your 20s is when you should make these decisions. It's really, really okay. I just hope you stay safe. I hope you graduate. I'm just hoping all the best for you. But here's the thing. Abscondita's story reminded me of a guy who was obsessed with me. I would call it an obsession because this guy said that he wants to date me. So basically he was pursuing me for almost 4 years. And the first year I thought, he'll lose. Yeah. By the time it was the 4th year, now I could not, even if I would have liked him, I could not date this guy because at this point now, 4 years pursuing one person was too suspect for me. I was just like, what do you plan to do with me? So the idea of this examiner or exam officer, the idea of this exam officer pursuing abscondita for a very long time is first of all a red flag to me. This other point might be controversial. Your thoughts could be here or there. But I feel like a 36-year-old dating a 21-year-old girl who's in the same school as you where you hold a position of authority, there's questions. I have questions. I just have questions. And I feel like this is very similar. I didn't know then, but then looking now, I'm just thinking at 19, 20, 21, 22, even 23, I didn't know much. So I usually feel like I'm more comfortable with someone dating, let's say when you get to 25 and then now you can date all the way to 50. But I feel like if you're way older and then you're dating someone below 25, I feel like the disparities are quite a number. But anyway, I'm not sure if I am communicating that point the way I want to communicate it. But basically, that was also a red flag for me. You being 36 and pursuing a girl who's 21 and you hold a position of authority in the same school she goes to. I don't know. It's all over the place for me. But anyway, abscondita, you'll be fine. The other thing that was weird for me is the wife magically appearing, coming back to him after a month. And I'm just like, are you sure the wife wasn't always there? It's very suspect. But I'm just thinking, are you sure the wife wasn't always there? I'm just asking. And there's nothing wrong with it. And also the wives, I need to understand, you knowing your man is cheating and you actually looking to pursue these women he's cheating with and checking up on them. Aren't you guys scared? I know I'm scared of a cheating man for the one reason that I don't even want to go to hospital to get checkups. And this is not for serious things. I'm not even thinking STI, chlamydia. I'm just thinking there's instances where I've dated and was sexually active and I had to go back to hospital for like recurring BV or yeast infections. And they're mild. Yes, you can take antibiotics and they're gone. You can drink water and they're gone. But I don't want to deal with that over and over. So this idea of cheating husbands and the wives just not going away. And I won't be surprised if the wife left because of his cheating and yet he's picked up the next person. Anyway, abscondita, again, all I'm saying is I wish you finish school, You graduate successfully and block him. That's all I wish upon you, because I also know from the way you've written, you give me smart girl vibes. So I'm not sure you're thinking of fighting the wife and keeping this man. So yeah, all the best, absconded. And on to our third letter. Guys, I am struggling. I don't know if you can hear my heaving and my nose. I'm struggling. If you can hear my heaving, I'm so sorry. It's only for this episode. We should be fine by next episode. And our third letter is from someone I named Pascalina. I'll need to blow my nose again, guys. Sorry. Okay, guys. And I'm back. Third letter from Pascalina. Hey, this is in response to the upcoming podcast on how we got to choose the sides on this settling thingy. I'd like to share with you a side of me that very few know about. And while I'm giving you permission to use this, I'd like to stay anonymous in the podcast should you choose to use this. So I belong to the I'm married, don't you dare group of people. And here is how I got there. The man I ended up marrying was initially my brother's friend and colleague. So we actually started out as friends before the love came in. And when it did, I was smitten, and he genuinely loved me as well. Because he was in Masinde Muliro University and me in Moi University, we never got around to having sex until the 7th month of the relationship. And guess what? The first time we did, I got pregnant. By this time, though, he had taken me home and introduced me to his people, so I already knew he was genuine. Back then, men only took you to their home when they meant business. Wachana na hii generation, yes, I don't know why she says this, because I thought she was my age mate. Anyway, so we decided to keep this baby. Then in the 4th month of this pregnancy, I came to learn that my sunshine has a baby out there. And a 3-year-old that I should have been told about before we even had sex, considering the time it took us to do so. I'm not going to abort this baby because my boyfriend has another baby somewhere, so we push on with it. Long story short, the love of your life can sometimes turn into the laugh of your life. Nice pun. This other kid has been the dark cloud hanging over me for the last 10 years. What? 10 years. And my 10 fingers are not enough to count the number of cheating issues I've had to deal with in these 10 years. Have I enjoyed my marriage? Yes. Certainly there have been very bright sparks of it. Have I had regrets? Plenty. Why don't I leave? It's complicated. Am I regretting this marriage? Yes. If the clock was rewinded, would I get married to the same man knowing what I know now? Never. Sometimes the people we love the most hurt us the most, and that is the tragedy of love. Oh. Signed, Pascalina. This was a heavy one. But reading through this letter, it reminded me of a few things that we as human beings need to understand. The aspect of duality does exist in most things that we do. Duality and spectrum. It's not always black and white. So when Pascalina says, I have enjoyed my marriage, but if taken back, I wouldn't do it again. I understand you can enjoy something and sometimes regret it. They can exist together. It doesn't mean that if you don't like something, then you completely hate it. If you hate something, then you completely do not like it. Duality exists, and that's what I'm getting from this. There are moments that you have enjoyed with that person and you love them so much. And this is why we're picking out red flags as people who talk of their exes very badly. Because in that process, when you were dating that person, there's things you enjoyed. There's memories you look back to and you remember very fondly. But there are things that hurt, and that's why you probably broke up with them. So both these two things can exist. You can like them and completely have some sort of what is it called? Disgust for them or dislike for them. So these things can exist. The other thing I've picked from this, and I can tie it into Abscondita's letter, is young love is very tricky. When you've loved young, when you've married young, it's very tricky because both of you are still growing. Not only is your child growing, but both of you are still growing. And you might grow into separate interests or interests that clash. And it's a difficult place to be because no one ever talks about this. No one ever gives you a manual. No one ever tells you what to do. You can't find clarity. You are lost. There's so much. And as she has said herself that, can I leave? And she says, it's complicated. I can't give you a yes or no answer for why am I not leaving. It's so much. At the end of the day, it's so much. And you see, she's been there for 10 years. A lot has been invested in this relationship. But at the end of the day, for Pascalina, I can only send you loads and loads of... The amount of love I am sending you is baskets full of love. And I hope you find clarity. For people who are usually struggling with things, especially relationships and things to do with marriage and kids, I wish you clarity mostly, because you could have all the logic in the world. You could have all the finance you want in the world. But your mind has to be in a place, or you have to be in a space where you have peace of mind. And that's all I wish upon you. I don't know what that looks like. It looks different for different people. But Pascalina, I am sending out so much love to you. I hope your child grows up in a healthy environment. I hope you learn peace. I hope you experience peace and happiness. And I know Pascalina in person. And I was so surprised when I received this story, because I was just like, you are such a ray of sun. If there is someone who comes close to as beautiful vibrations as me, is this girl. She's always out there and she's so bright and beautiful. And to think that these are the demons she's fighting behind closed doors, I am just sending out so much love. So much love. But anyway, that brings us to the end of our letters. So we'll go to my personal experiences. I'm up there with the responses for addicted to singles over there. But anyway, I'm talking about my personal experience about single or settled. I have struggled with the idea of settling even before I knew I didn't want to settle. So I always felt like I was lacking in something. But once I found out what I want, what I need, what gives me peace, and basically inner contentment, it's been easier for me. It's been very easy for me to carry on with life. So some of the things that by now I am sure, I am sure about is that I will be single for life. Single is not the term for it, but basically people call it single most of the time, just because you're not married. So you're referred to as single. And I've picked that because I don't intend to get married. With me saying that, people usually mistake that for me not wanting to be loved or me not engaging in any romantic relationships. I'm very open to love. In fact, I am a romantic as hell. So as much as as much as people think that I want to be single, people forget that being single also means that I'm open to love. Being single does not necessarily mean I have something against love. I don't like love. I don't like romance. I love romance. In fact, I'm a romantic. I love love. I am very open to love, but I am not expecting love. If it happens, it happens, and I will be happy and I will enjoy the moment. And for as long as that whatever will happen lasts, I will make sure I have had the time of my life with the person I have to spend that period with, okay? And then there are other things like I don't intend to have children or to get married. And when I say, okay, for children, it's easy. You understand, we're just not getting children. There's an entire community of people who are not getting children, childless by choice. You can find them online. there's a whole load of us women who are now just not giving birth. Okay, so that's normal. The other thing is, I don't want to get married, but that does not mean that I'm closed off to all sorts of commitment. I am very open to commitments like customary marriage. I'm very open to commitments like vows exchange. Vows exchange ceremonies. Like, it's just, it doesn't, I think my biggest problem is the legal, involving the government legally on things. I'm just like, no. Customary vows exchange ceremonies and co-living spaces. So I've said co-living spaces because I don't necessarily, even if I commit to someone, I don't necessarily intend to share space with them. So it will look like probably you and I are married or engaged or are committed together. And at the end of the day, we still keep our separate houses. So probably we'll figure out how to see each other. And the other option for that, very unconventional, is having a two-wing house. It could be a twin house where everyone has their own wing. So we could cross wings. Anyway, that's what... Yeah, if he can afford to build that kind of house, if I can afford to build that kind of house, I do not mind living in a co-living area, co-living space where we have two wings. We have one house, but two wings. Or we can keep both our houses and we live separately and we can see a way to see each other. But still committed, still very much committed, still very much in love, still very much exclusive. I know it's very unconventional. It's difficult to wrap your head around it. And that's why I'm saying it is not a must. If no one has the same intention with me, and if this doesn't happen for me, I am okay. Even in this space, the one thing that I am sure about is that I am happy in my singlehood. And the problem with this, actually, I would like people who've lived by themselves for a while and then moved in with their boyfriends or husbands or whatever, or their partners, to tell me how you did that. Because I think once you become single for a while and lived in your own space for a very long time, it's addictive. It's heavenly peaceful. It's some coke addiction, guys. You cannot get out of it. In fact, I've had instances where I've said yes to being someone's girlfriend and immediately regretted it. I'm just like, I miss being single already. Like, they sat right there across the table and I was just thinking, nah, I just want to be single. I do not want to do this. And that person has done nothing wrong. So I think I am the ridiculously addicted to singlehood kind of person. But I will see. I'm very open to love. I'm very spontaneous. We'll see where it goes. With love, I'm not setting any plans, or, of course, there's boundaries. I'm not setting any plans or anything out of the odds. Of course, the whatever I expect itself is unconventional, but no. And I want to finish this podcast by saying one thing that I have seen has been misconstrued for a very long time. To me, I say it in a matter of factly, but I don't know about where you stand. But there's an idea of invalidating relationships just because they've not gotten to a particular level. So you'll find people dating for 10 years, but people will just be like, but that's not your husband, that's not your wife. But why? Why can't they be? Because a husband and a wife must have a ring, because a husband and a wife must live together. So the idea of invalidating certain relationships because they've not reached your level of whatever systems you've set for yourself is just very weird. So for me, all relationships are valid. Have you been dating for 2 days? It's valid. You owe each other exclusivity, loyalty, respect, and love. You've dated for 10 years. It is fine. There is nothing wrong with your marriage. You moved in with your person and had kids. There is nothing wrong with your commitment. You're just engaged. You've been engaged for 5-10 years. There is nothing wrong with your commitment. You are married legally. There is nothing wrong with your commitment. You are in a your marriage is official through customary marriage. There is nothing wrong with your commitment. You have dated for 5-10 years. Your commitment is valid. Can we stop discrediting people's relationships? Can we stop bullying people because you feel like their relationships don't meet your standards of validation. Can we stop doing that? People can be engaged for as long as they want. People can be married for as long as they want. People can be married but separated for as long as they want. People can continue engaging with each other while separated. You can keep going back to your person for sex. It is okay. That's not for you to judge. It's for the two of them to work out by themselves. Polyamorous is not cheating. If you're in a polyamorous relationship, that is very safe. The rules are laid out. Everyone's security is guaranteed. Cheating is a whole new different ballgame. So, man, I don't know, guys. I don't know how you choose this side or that side. For the people who are also on the fence, tell us which one you choose at the end of the day. But this has been such a beautiful episode. I hope you have learned a few things or two. I hope you found someone who has shared something that's similar to yours and you're like, so there's many of us. Let me relax, okay? So if you've had a beautiful experience here, please, 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 please comment, engage, find other people like you, tag. Let's have these beautiful conversations. And until next week, watch out on my socials for the prompt for next week's episode so that you can send in your letters and you can send in your comments and we can discuss them next week. But for now, we've come to the end of our single or settled. What's the story behind your single or settled? And I'm really happy. And just before I forget, there is opportunities for advertisement and partnerships on this podcast. So if you want a mention, if you want product placement, if you want an entire ad to run on this podcast, I am more than happy to send you a rate card and how the podcast is performing to see if you'd like an opportunity to collaborate. But with that said, until next week, I have been your beautiful, fabulous Olive Orao, and this is In All Honesty Podcast. Bye!